Your overall thoughts on the match?
Yeah, tricky match for sure. Going out there, I heard around that maybe he wasn't feeling that great, so it wasn't super surprising to me that he was just taking big cuts. He was going for a lot of balls, and just overall a tough match to navigate. I think I played the match without having like a whole lot of rhythm just because of how big he was playing, and I also felt a little bit of the nerves in some of those points, but just happy to get through.
Lerner, you grew up in Southern California, so this in some ways is almost like a backyard tournament to you. Does it mean to you to be doing well in your own section of this tournament?
Means a lot. The court I played on today, I remember exactly where I was sitting in that same stadium when I was a kid. So it's really cool. It's really a full circle moment for me, and just really special to play here and especially to win here.
When was that moment? Do you remember when you were here in Kiev?
It was multiple years. It wasn't just 1 year, but I just remember like the exact section of the stadium I was kind of sitting in.
When was it? Sorry.
Um, from where I was sitting on the bench, it would have been to my left, like in that corner. But I remember those seats. I remember a lot of it still. So it's really cool.
Learning you're familiar with the term tennis IQ. A lot of people use it with reference to you as you've been coming up, and I'm just wondering, you personally, do you have a definition of what that term actually means? What are the key components of it, maybe? And do you feel that it's like a weapon for you, that it actually is helping you win points, games, matches out there?
For sure. I think it's a big part of my game. If I had to define it, I'd probably say it's a lot of problem solving, a lot of adjusting, which is, both those things are huge parts of tennis. Both guys go out and prepare to play a match a certain way. They have a game plan, but from the first point, you're pretty much adapting to what the other guy throws at you. So I think I'd say tennis IQ is navigating that, and just it could be your shot selection. It could be, where you serve from, what you expect, how you're just kind of navigating the points, I'd say.
Sure. Well, that's it then. I just wonder how you're finding it, playing these matches and now going deeper. It's your second year. You're more of a favourite. How are you enjoying that? How are you sort of thriving off that pressure?
It's different for sure. Whether I'm a favorite or whether I'm an underdog, I go out and I don't really think about it. I think once the match starts, like I said, you're just out there trying to adapt to what's happening, and rankings and previous matches go out the window, and you're just trying to work through the current match. So whether I'm a favorite or whether I'm not, I just go out there and I just try to compete as hard as I can.
What about during a match? Do you find it changes if you've got a lead or if you're trailing? Could we see sometimes players play more freely when they're behind?
Yeah, it's hard to say that you don't loosen up a little bit if you were down a double break or something. But I try to approach each point like it has equal value, and I feel like that sometimes helps take the nerves away off of some of these big points, big games, when I just try to think of each point as having equal value, and I just try to navigate through these games without thinking of the overall score. But it's hard to sit here and say that some moments of the match don't feel more important than others.
Hi, Learner. You're not done with tennis today. You're playing with Daniil Medvedev in doubles against the cousins. How did that partnership come together? Why did you want to play? Who approached you? And have you practiced together? What's the doubles relationship like?
His coach reached out to my coach. Originally, a couple guys had asked me to play doubles, and my coach actually didn't really want me to play doubles. He just kind of wanted me to focus on singles. But when Daniil asked, it was more like, obviously we're both singles players, and we're not really prioritizing doubles, so it wasn't going to be something that would really get in the way of singles, is what we thought. So I thought it'd be fun, so I said yes. But obviously he was coming in a little bit late, and I haven't actually seen him in person on site yet. So I'll probably find him sometime before the match, I'm sure.
I want to come back to Southern California a little bit. How did growing up in a section, an area like this, help you really sharpen your skills as a tennis player?
Yeah, I mean, I consider myself lucky to grow up in this area. There's a lot of tennis, a lot of tennis courts, a lot of tennis players, a lot of parents just putting their kids into tennis programs. And so there were a lot of tournaments around. I wouldn't have to travel that far most of the time. And, it wasn't that hard finding practice, finding open courts. And so I consider myself pretty lucky to have grown up in this area.
I noticed that you out-aced Ben today, and I mean, obviously he maybe wasn't his best. You also hit 10 double faults, 15 aces. So I'm just wondering if you're consciously trying to go for more on your serve, and how that plays into your strategy.
I think just this match in particular, I felt like obviously physically he wasn't feeling amazing, so he was probably trying to keep points short, trying to take big swings, big cuts off of my serves. So I was going for a good bit, maybe a little bit more than usual, especially on some of those second serves, just because I felt the pressure a little bit of him taking some pretty big cuts at the ball. In general, I think my serve has improved. Obviously, there's some moments where I still feel like I can get much better, but I'm happy with how it's progressed, and I'm definitely seeing a lot more free points, I'd say, off of it.
Last one.
Yeah, Lerner, when you were coming up, was there any players who stylistically influenced you, and how much do you use analytics or video analysis, either of your matches or the opponent?
I wouldn't really say there was like one guy I tried to mold myself after. I know I personally have no ego issues when it comes to picking and stealing things from other people's games that I think are better than the shots that I hit. And so I think that's been great for me. When I was growing up, my coaches would, pick and choose random shots from certain players that just execute that shot very well and, try to apply it to me. And so that was the main thing. Sorry, I forgot the second part of your question.
Analytics or video analysis, do you use that at all preparation?
I think my coach does maybe a little bit more now. Me personally, I'm not really looking myself. I'm sure my coach does a little bit, before we step on court, and he'll tell me some of these stats or what he sees. But personally, I don't really look at that stuff. A double break or something. But I mean, I try to approach each point like it has equal value, and I feel like that sometimes helps take the nerves away off of some of these big points, big games, when I just try to think of each point as, having equal value, and I just try to navigate through these games without thinking of the overall score. But it's hard to sit here and say that